G'day, welcome back to the channel. Hit that subscribe button for me to stay up to date with all the latest content. Grab yourselves a coffee or a cold drink as we slip into Paul's Postie Bike. We remove this one with the plastic cover. Then there's this washer that runs in the bearings in the top here. So there's all individual bearings in there, like a push bike setup. So we're going to replace them with some needle roller bearings I've got. So here we can see how clean this is on the inside. It actually has never been apart, like I said before. I'm going to replace them anyway. So these are the new steering head bearings I've got. They come from Lambda Motorcycles. I'll put a link to them in the description. So they come with a couple of packets of grease to pack the bearings with, a bottom bearing, and a top bearing, or top bearing, bottom bearing, top bearing. So these are tapered style, so they're not, the other ones were actual round ball bearings. These are tapered roller bearings, so they should last a lot better. This is a new genuine Honda oil seal for the bottom of that, this oil seal for the bottom of this bearing, which we'll replace as well. And I've got a, from the records, I've got a second-hand top triple clamp or top bracket to replace the other rusty one with. So the first thing I need to do in order to replace the old roller bearings with the new tapered bearings is remove this bottom brace. The easiest way I found to do that at home is to get a cold chisel and wedge in underneath, and usually we can move it up enough and we can knock it off with a punch. The trick is just to keep tapping it gently down from each side until you can get it to the point where you can just wiggle it off. We're not going to use that anymore. We'll replace that oil seal and we'll keep this metal spacer. So then I'm just going to give all this a clean up with a rag. It's in a lot better condition than I thought it was going to be, so I'm actually going to reuse it. I have a replacement one that I was going to use. So that spacer we saved from earlier, we'll just give that a bit of a wipe and we'll reinstall him. And then we'll find the bearing with the biggest hole. And it should slide all the way down to the bottom. This one actually tells me, it says that it's 41 by 24 by 12. This one says 41 by 22 by 12. This has got the biggest hole, so 41 is the outside. The outside of this, 41. The inside is 24. And then 12 is the thickness. we've determined that that's the right bearing that we need to put on. Open up the packet with our oil seal. Let's call it a grease seal. There's no oil in there, but it's a grease seal. Stop the grease popping out. Then we're going to find the bearing that we're going to use. Open up one of our packets of grease. Then we want to keep squeezing that grease out and working it all the way through the bearing until it comes out in between these rollers out the back here. If we keep working it in between the rollers, we can start to see it coming through the back of this bearing. This is exactly how you do a wheel bearing on a trailer or something as well. There are machines you can buy to do this for you. This is the old-fashioned way. So I'll just keep packing that in with my finger in each direction until it's all full. If there's any gaps you can see in the back or in the front, there's not enough grease in, keep forcing it in. It should be tight all the way around, and there shouldn't be any, the whole inside of that should be full of grease. There shouldn't be anywhere where you've got any gaps. Once it's ready to go on, you slide him down. And then all I do is I use the old race that we took off as a driver. Then we can head back over to our trusty rollaway sleeper, and then we can just tap that back down with a punch. Once we've got the inner bearing on the steering stem, we then need to punch these old inner ones out from the neck, and so we can just tap them from the inside out using the punch to knock it through, and then we'll replace it with the one that we've got in the kit. All I'm going to do is just slide it down till it touches the bottom of the inner race. Give it a couple of taps. And swap to the other side. Then swap back. Until I've tapped him all the way out. And a longer punch or drift would certainly help my fingers. There we have it. We have tapped out the inner race. Tap out the top one. Just by doing the same, tap him out. Swap sides. And tap him through. We can go ahead and get rid of all that. Not going to use any of that. So that race off of the steering neck and the races off the triple clamp and the races off the steering neck, all rubbish. Then we're going to install the new ones. So we'll tap them in all the way around using a smaller punch, and then we'll reinstall the triple clamp. Then we just keep tapping him into place, swapping sides until it hits the shoulder. So then we're just going to do the exact same process with the top one. We'll hammer the new bearing in, and then we'll install the triple tree. Unpack the bearing out of its packet, put that aside, and then this one just gets tapped into place. Make sure it's even all the way around. And make sure he's all the way home. And I'm just going to give this bearing a little bit of a wipe to get rid of all any dust or dirt that I've accidentally put on it using that bit of pipe. And then I'm just going to replace the last bit of grease. Pack our top bearing full of grease. So just keep using that, forcing the grease in between the rollers till it comes out the back and the front technique, till it's all full again, same as the other one. We just lift him up into place. Drop the bearing on. Then replace. And then we just want to nip up this top until it's firm without being tight. Righto folks, that's all we have for this episode of Paul's Postie Bike. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share with all your friends. I'll see you next episode.